everything all the buttons are where they should be, the zippers are where they should be. There's only one spot where he felt that there was flipping, and he said it happened in the minor league sequence. It's really 90 seconds or 2 minutes when Lou goes to play in Hartford. And there are two cuts. One where Lou appears to be throwing left-handed, and from one scene to another where he's throwing the same way, a Band-Aid on one hand moves to the other hand.
Oh.
And that's a telltale sign that maybe the hardest thing that Cooper had to face, and that many people face if they're even trying for fun to throw from the side that they're not natural, that's not natural to them, is throwing. So, according to Schieber, based on the final cut, that is what happened, that there was very little flipping. It is entirely possible that that they were going to flip it, if they were going to flip his hitting, but then he started learning how to hit, or learning how to swing better. So, it's without any more information from the Goldman files, without anything from the cutting room floor, it's hard to be absolutely certain. But Schieber, who I trust implicitly because he knows this stuff so well, based on that, he said it's only the throwing. There's also a scene in there where a coach who is throwing to Gehrig, you see the exact same shot with him throwing from both sides, as if he were two different coaches.
Oh, okay.
So the throwing thing, and I think he was the manager of one of the Pacific Coast League teams. And you could tell, unless he was ambidextrous, he probably wasn't throwing exactly the same from both sides.
Sure. We have to get going, Richard. We thank you for joining us. Richard Sandomir is the author of The Pride of the Yankees, Lou Gehrig, Gary Cooper, and the Making of a Classic. And everyone, I'm sure, has seen the movie at least once. It's still, after reading this book, you like. I like the movie even more now afterwards because there's so much that is Hollywood about this movie, but at the same time, you're intrigued by the movie. It's still a fun movie to watch, and it's Lou Gehrig. So
yeah, I think what other people have read it come out with it who say, well, I only remember this for the speech, and now I remember it for much more. And that's I like that kind of comment because it says now people can pay more attention to other parts of the film, including the love story. That while I think it's very clear that it's a love story, what people remember most is that the speech delivered by Cooper is pretty much the way we remember the speech.
And actually, I mean, it's almost like Cooper's version of it has actually replaced the real life version of it.
Well, because it is intact, and there is no intact version of Gehrig's speech.
Right.
And also one thing about Lou Gehrig, it's back when he was playing, they didn't have sports radio, the internet, and everything else, and I've rarely ever heard him speak on film. There's not a lot out there. It's
a real rarity. There is, if you Google enough, there is an interview that Gehrig did during the 39 season after he stopped playing, where he's just talking about the Yankees. He apparently must have said, I'm not going to talk about my illness, but I'll talk about the Yankees. Very intelligent guy, very thick New York accent, no surprise there.
Right.
No German in his accent, even though he was raised by German immigrants.
Sure.
So he was had a very strong voice, and what you hear, what's left intact of the speech, is a deep voice, near thick accent that is choked up by emotion.
And there's this. Yeah, we're in the 75th anniversary of this movie. Any showings in the New York area?
Yeah, we have. We did a showing last week at the Museum of the Moving Image, but the next one is going to be July 12th at 7 p.m. at the Quad Cinema in Greenwich Village. And anybody who wants to go up to Cooperstown on Wednesday, I'll be speaking to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Will you be at the July 12th?
I'll be at the July 12th screening, yes.
And is there a Q&A afterwards, or just?
Yes, Bud Michigan from New York 1 will be doing that.
Oh, okay.
And,
I know Bud.
There may be a special guest. I'm not sure. She has to be asked before I say who might be there.
Well, we'll just leave that as a tease. Richard, thank you for joining us. It's a great book. We appreciate you coming on.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, Richard.
Take care. Bye-bye. That is Richard Sandomir, author of Pride of the Yankees, Lou Gehrig, Gary Cooper, and the Making of a Classic. We should say it's published by Hachette Books. And we're going to be speaking to Phil Mushnick of the New York Post. We got to take a break, though. It's part of the
break.
show. And we'll have Phil on right after this.
Okay.
Yo.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
So we have to talk about weddings. If you're going to the wedding, you need to bring a drone with you. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Why?
Because that apparently is the hot gift to give at a wedding right now.
Oh, to give. Okay. I thought you meant
yeah. I
Money
thought
was
they
the
were
gift.
Apparently money is so 2016. We don't do money
Give me
anymore.
money.
Money is the out thing, and now you need to give gifts, including outdoor pizza ovens.
Outdoor pizza.
Yes. Or games, including Scrabble, which makes no sense to me. Why would you give Scrabble as a wedding gift?
I would never want a drone.
Yeah, let me tell you right now. If I get married and somebody gives me a drone or Scrabble, not to be ungrateful, but I'm going to be pissed. For real, like.
You'll spell it out with the right number of letters to make sure you can get the triple word score.
The Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings at 9. Yeah. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
Hey, have you seen DJ Solero?
No, why?
Well, he was supposed to be here right now to tell everyone about his show, The Rare Groove Session, but I can't find him anywhere.
I'll keep my eyes peeled. Maybe he went to get something to eat.
Food? He went to get food? I mean, who can eat at a time like this?
Relax. I'm sure everyone will figure out when they can listen to the most incredible music from the 60s and 70s that they may have not heard before.
But what if they can't? What if they never figure out when the Rare Groove Session is on? What happens then, huh? I don't want to live in a world where no one knows about the Rare Groove Session.
Hey guys, ready to tell everyone about RGS?
DJ Solero, where the have you been?
I was getting something to eat.
How can you eat at a time like this?
What are you talking about?
Don't mind her. Go ahead. Tell everyone when to listen.
Okay then, if you're looking to hear some mind-blowing music, check out the Rare Groove Session Friday nights at midnight on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
We're back here on From the Press Box here every Monday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., talking sports. Today we're just doing interviews because we like doing interviews. Just talked to Richard Sandomir, and now we bring on another great New York sports writer. You might read him in the New York Post. Maybe you read him online. I don't know.
No, they should read him in the New York Post.
They should. And,
Come on.
Well, maybe they read him online. It's different. Maybe something else.
Buy the paper.
His name is Phil Mushnick, and we welcome you back to the show for the second time, and it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Tim.
Hi, Phil.
Thanks for letting me follow Richard Sandomir, a legend.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I said. That's what I said before. I said we were having two legendary New York sports writers on.
Well, you're having one.
Which one is which?
That's up to you.
Oh, now you're going to get us in trouble.
No.
Well, first of all, I got to ask you, did Mike Francesa send you any flowers or a cake or cookies or something? You actually wrote something nice about him last week.
This has been a big topic for my brother in the last couple of days, Phil.
He got taken to the woodshed for something that was unfair. He meant no ill will at all in referring to an Asian American group called the Slants, of all things.
Right.
Great name.
Which was named to be wise guys. Look, we can it's like NWA,
Right.
You know what that's.
Yep.
Look, we're wise guys, eh? And he referred to them as Oriental Americans, which is passé. But he did include the hyphenated Americans, which isn't too bad.
Right.
But
because it was almost like he was
but I
trying to
didn't
do it
write
right,
that
but he just
to curry favor with him. I wrote that for my readers, for the readers.
I know, but
fair is fair.
I know. I'm just saying.
I'm not bad. I'm just weak.
I mean, I know he's going to be gone in a couple of months, and
I can't wait to start missing him.
Oh, he's not going away. We know that. So
neither am I.
Good. That's good to hear.
I'm not going to retire. I'm going to expire.
Good.
it's probably the better way to do it.
Which one of you is older? It's Rob, right?
I am older by 14 months.
Oh, don't get him started, Phil.
And Phil,
did you share a room growing up?
We
Yes,
did.
we did.
And
how'd that work out?
Just as well as it does on the radio.
Well, he snored a lot, so so he, I'd be awake, saying, "Don't snore, don't snore."
Wow.
Plus,
so
Phil,
you were
I don't know if
talking
you
in your sleep then. Don't snore.
Plus, Phil, I taught him how to read.
I was going to say, Phil. Now he's going to tell you he taught me how to read.
I taught him how to read.
I have a twin sister, and she taught me, and I'd say it was late. She taught me how to tie my shoelaces.
Okay, well, I didn't do that for Tim.
Okay.
But I did teach him how to read.
All right.
So
I
he
think
claims.
I did.
Well, it was great talking to you guys. And I hope to talk to you again soon.
Hey, by the way, you haven't. I read your column all the time, and the last time
You're
we
the
talked,
one, huh?
yes, I'm the one. And I've been waiting for you to steal my idea that the Mets and the Yankees should have seat fillers behind home plate for all the seats that they don't sell, like they do at the Oscars. When someone gets up, they put someone in, so it looks like it's full. And I've been waiting for you to just steal the line, and you haven't. I'm very upset.
You mean they come with certificates of inauthenticity?
Yeah. Well, I get angry about this, and I tell this to Timmy all the time. A lot of other teams they sell out behind home plate.
No, I get it, Rob.
Okay.
What are you going to do? You're going to tell those wealthy suckers who are spending $1,500 per ticket to see the Blue Jays on a Tuesday night, on a cloudy, rotten night, you're going to tell them that, we're seating these people next year because you're a sucker?
Yeah, because we want it to look nicer on TV.
You got to protect the suckers.
That's what they're doing.
Well, that's what Randy Levine said, it, or was Lon Trust?
Lon Trust doesn't say anything that Randy Levine doesn't first okay or certify.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, I wasn't.
Including. Oh no! All those tickets are sold. They're just all watching the games on the big screen TV in the fancy buffet room.
Yes, where it's air conditioned.
Right, like as if people traveled to the Bronx and spent $1 million so they could watch on a TV set.
Plus, when those people actually are sitting in those seats, there's no reason for them to move. I mean, if the Yankees could, they would figure out a way to let them be able to go to the bathroom at their seats.
I was a guest there of Yes Network one night, and I sat there, and anything you want, they'll hand you.
Right.
And I went in, and I said Tuesday night against the Blue Jays because it was a Tuesday night against the Blue Jays, and I went several times. I traveled into, it's just across and then down a few steps into that luxury restaurant. It's a very nice restaurant. It really is. Mm-hmm. And just to scope out whether people were actually sitting there watching it. And the only people sitting there watching the big screen TVs were the waiters and waitresses.
That's true.
Somehow I'm not surprised.
Well, I sat on the Hyundai box last year. My friend got a ticket through a friend, so I'd have to pay for it. And at one point,
it's at Citi Field, though.
Yeah, it's at Citi Field. But you talk about watching the game. I told my friend at one point, because they have all you can eat food in the Hyundai box or whatever. I think it's still the Hyundai box this year. And
you'll have to take some doggy bags home? Or
no, you're not. But I told my friend at one point, I go, I'm not leaving here until I get my eating's worth of food here. I'm going to eat as much as I can. And I said,
not only didn't I pay for those tickets, I'm going to take full advantage of them.
Yeah, so and I was like, so for an inning and a half, we watched the game inside while I ate. Because, first of all, the food was good.
While you did a Joey Chestnut impersonation.
Yeah, the food was good.
Oh, the food was fine. You know, I was there a couple of times in that Legends restaurant. The food's wonderful. It's a buffet. But when did showing up at a ballpark to watch a ball game become predicated on a pregame meal and a $1,500 seat? Or in my case, I was in a $650 seat.
That's a good point.
Oh.
Yeah,
Phil,
you were
slumming.
By the way, as a guest, I did not expense it.
Oh, that's good. But that's a good point because one thing I was bothered and still bothered about the Yankees and the Mets, they have at the beginning of the season, these are our new restaurants in the place. And I'm like, well, you're supposed to be watching the game, aren't you?
Yeah. Give the rats tush, right?
The Yankees had a press conference.
There was this Mets dining room. They had a Mets 86 champion burger for like $51.
Oof.
But it comes with fries.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
$51 for a burger or something like that.
Right. I mean, I remember before the season started, only because I follow so many Yankee beat writers on Twitter, that they had a press conference at Yankee Stadium for their new food selections, and everybody was tweeting pictures of all of these burgers. And none of the burgers had a bite taken out. I finally tweeted a couple of people. I said, isn't anybody going to eat any of this stuff?
You guys remember Eddie Andelman?
No.
He was